It's still early in the AMSOIL Arenacross season, but there are a few riders making their presence known. The series points leader Matt Gerke's been consistent, and teammate Jacob Hayes has had 3 main event wins. Who will step up in Nashville? Find out next. Time to fire it up. We're in Nashville, Tennessee for AMSOIL Arenacross featuring Ricky Carmichael's Road to Supercross on Fox Sports 1. Welcome inside, everyone. Hello from Bridgestone Arena. I'm Robbie Floyd. This is Daniel Blair, and the 2015 AMSOIL Arenacross season has been about consistency for the series points leader, Matt Gerke.
Yeah, Matt's been riding great. He's been very solid, and what stands out to me is his ability to stay out of trouble. He has no wins on the season, yet he comes in tonight with a 12-point lead.
He's been very strong, but some other guys have been strong as well. We've had 10 main events in this season and 5 different winners. That's parity.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity this season, and there's 3 guys that stand out to me. Jacob Hayes, Kyle Riegel, and Chris Bloss. These guys have been fast. They've won main events. They've won overalls, but they've struggled to put 2 solid nights of racing together. That's going to have to change if they want to be champions.
So who is going to be favored tonight?
Well, we got to look at the practice times. Chris Bloss is our fastest rider in practice, so to me, he's got to be the favorite.
But first, you have to make it to the main events. We start off with heat races, then the head-to-head bracket race. It's awesome. You make it as one of the top qualifiers into that bracket race, and you get points for doing so. Main events tonight, we'll find out who makes it to those, but look at the guys who've already won. Hayes, Riegel, Magis, Bloss. We're missing Gavin Faith, not with us tonight due to injury. Let's take a look at this track here in Nashville with our GoPro track preview on board with Kyle Riegel on that Tylube Tough Racing Husqvarna.
Take off from the gate. They're going to hit the start straightaway, which is only going to be used this week for the start. We have a bigger arena, allowed for a little extra track. Tough set of whoops right here. These are going to get jagged throughout the night. It's going to be very difficult for guys to keep a straight line. They're going to be looking for alternates. An option rhythm right here. You can go the outside triple-triple, inside triple-double. Turn, hit the catapult, finish line jump, and then normally we get onto a start straightaway, but tonight we hit a big triple heading back into the first corner.
A nice change to AMSOIL Arenacross this weekend in Nashville, but also a new face you might not be familiar with. Chrissy Lee has more.
Thanks, Robbie. Many new faces here at Arenacross this season. Like Daniel Herline, number 393. He contended Monster Energy Supercross back in 2012 and 2013. Suffered a severe ankle injury and missed almost the entire season last year and has joined us now at Arenacross in 2015. He said he's really had to up his intensity and up his training game here for Arenacross, but he can't create that intensity on his own in practice, and that he's really learning a lot week after week here and continuing to improve.
Thanks, Christy. We'll see Herline in this. He qualifies 3rd to get into this heat race. Also, Jared Steinke, a guy who hasn't done so well this season. He's trying to start things off well here in Nashville.
Yeah, he's definitely picked up the pace starting tonight in Nashville, and we'll see if he can get it done in this heat race.
Kyle Riegel in here as well. Corey Green, Sanaya, we saw him earlier in the year perform well on top 5 qualifiers. Who's going to get the start? Looks like Husqvarna out in front. Tylube, the white machine of Kyle Riegel, the 4. Now look at that line in the whoops. He chooses not to take it.
Yeah, he's starting to stay out of the rut right there, but this is something, Robbie, we're seeing now on a consistent basis. Kyle Riegel has got his starts figured out, and it's becoming almost automatic that he gets himself out front.
Throwing a bike around the opposite direction. You have to finish in the top 7 to transfer directly into the main events. And I say main events, it's plural. In AMSOIL Arenacross, we have not only 1, but 2 points-paying main events.
Yeah, you definitely want to get yourself in those main events, get those points, but you know what? The bracket racing is almost just as important. So you want to be in the top 4. This is going to give you a front row gate pick for the main events and also get you in that bracket racing. And right now, Riegel, Herline, Sinai, and Roman looking like they're going to get to that bracket race.
Unfamiliar names possibly if you're new to AMSOIL Arenacross. You've been watching the past few years. Yes, Roman, we've seen him before. Zont, Browning, but Herline, Sinai, Green, strong. He finished 5th last year. He's in 4th right now.
Yeah, well, you know, the season's starting to develop. We're starting to get a better idea of who the players are in the series, and certain guys are starting to break out and get comfortable. Herline is one of those guys. He came into the opening round. No one really knew who he was. He's getting comfortable. He's getting fast, and now we're seeing him battle up front. This is a guy who's really developed his Arenacross speed.
Man, I love that extra rhythm section they have here. These whoops, you've talked about it, they're going to get broken down. They're going to tear up as the night goes. You see the 457 of Sinai, the Team Green Rider, powering his way, motoring his way. There's the triple. middle. Oh, but coming up short.
Yeah,
or a little long.
A little long, actually, on that one. I think he got a little extra traction. You know, this track has actually changed since practice. It's a little bit harder packed now. So some of the jumps that they were struggling with in practice, they're actually going to be over jumping now. They're going to have to get that figured out right away.
Typically, we're in the southeast part of the country, and Herline's starting to turn it up a little bit. This is about as good a dirt as you're going to find throughout the year, because some of our northern venues, it's soggy. It's been snowing in those areas.
Yeah, this soil is actually really good. It took them a little while to kind of develop it and pack it in throughout the night, but right now it's looking really good. And the pace has definitely picked up. I think these guys are going maybe about a half a second faster in this heat race than they were today in practice, and that's mainly from track conditions.
The Team Green Rider powering through. That is perfect form. Oh, Regal, not the rhythm he wanted. It looks like he's going to get past.
No, it came up short on that triple. Herline takes advantage, goes to the inside, and looks like he's taking his first lead in Amsoil Arenacross for him. This is his first chance out front. I told you this guy's been getting better and better, and now he's got a chance to get out front and try to run away from this thing.
That's awesome. Chrissy was saying, hey, pay attention to this kid. Now we look at his form. He's as well as trying to miss that one rut. It's sometimes better to be in that consistent side, smooth straight across, and to fight for that lower ground.
Exactly. Sometimes you think you see a low line, you think, okay, this is the hot line, they're lower, but it's just so hard to stay straight, so I like to maybe get outside of that rut, find an edge, and that's what he's doing right now, and definitely going faster than whoops, and running a good pace right now.
ANY Racing Honda, look at him. And I've had so many guys tell me through the years, every lap you just hold your breath through the whoops and you're already thinking about it the next time you come around. Another guy who's thinking about it is the 457, the Kawasaki rider of Darian Sanayi, another Ricky Carmichael Road to Supercross competitor inside that top 5. There's Corey Green in 4th on that yellow Suzuki, the Babbitt's Online Reynolds Modification Suzuki.
Yeah, this is another guy who had a kind of rough start to his season. He's had a few mishaps, and some were his fault and some weren't his fault, but he really wants to get on track right now. You know, he was 10th in qualifying today, but he's sitting outside of that top 10 in points, so I know he wants to put together a good night of racing, get himself back in the mix and back in the hunt.
And Corey wants to finish better than 5th. You always want to better your number each year. Oh, and the Kawasaki's down.
It's Sanayi.
It was Sanayi who was out in front. You know, he was in the top 3. Looked like he had a clear transfer, and on the last lap, we're on board with Herline. Wow. He's going to win this thing unless Kyle Regal does something special in this last right-hand turn, but Sanayi, unfortunately, not going to be in the main event. The guy who is Daniel Herline, his first ever Premier Class heat race win. Congratulations to him. He moves on to the main events along with Kyle Regal, Corey Green, Willie Browning, Jared Steinke, Steve Roman, and Scott Zott. The others ride the LCQ.
Daniel Herline, congratulations on the first heat race win of your career in Amsoil Arenacross. I know you're getting ready for Supercross in a couple weeks. You got to be excited about the momentum you're carrying in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, it feels good to get out here and mix it up with these guys. A lot of fast guys racing Arenacross, and I'm just happy to be out here mixing it up with these guys and getting a heat race win.
Who's going to step up for heat race 2 and take that victory? Stay with us and find out. Welcome back to Nashville, Tennessee. Robbie Floyd, Daniel Blair, Christy Lee with you here. We've crowned one heat race winner, but before we get to heat race number 2, we've got a new face in Amsoil Arenacross, but he's not a new face to Monster Energy Supercross. You've seen him before. His name is Matt Gerke.
I raced Supercross the last 2 years, and both years I was doing good, and I got hurt at the end of the year. I thought it'd be cool to do Arenacross and hopefully be able to win. At first, I would have thought maybe it's a little easier than Supercross. Bowers seemed to be easily winning and all, but when he moved out, I feel like the few guys that were behind him before got better. So now there's a lot of us that can win. I was surprised how tight the track was. I thought it was going to be half of a Supercross, but it was even smaller than that. That first heat I did at Cincinnati was really intense. The first weekend I got hit a lot and hit a lot of people. But then after that, I've kind of figured it out, when to back off and when to just try to make a pass. And it's just different than Supercross. It's more intense racing. I think the fans will love it. The racing's so intense. It's more intense than Supercross. A lot more slamming and bar banging, and there's a lot of us that feel like we can win. I expected to be leading. That's what I came here for. Tonight, I'm going to focus on just trying to get a better start than I have the last few weeks and try to get out front early, get away from everybody, get away from all the bar banging. I'm here to win, nothing else.
And what's ironic is Matt has yet to win a main event, but he's the series points leader. He holds the red background. You see him on that far right, or the rider's left-hand side. Look to the left on the starting grid. Those dark spots of those top 7, those are the guys that will transfer directly into the main event. Good start by Gerke's teammate. Looks like Blows with the whole shot. And he takes that outside line. He's giving that inside up to Bobby Canary, but Bobby backs it down.
Yeah, Bobby sits down in second place. He's going to do the smart line right there and just follow Blows around the corner. But Chris Blows having a good night. It started in practice. I noticed it from the very first lap of practice. He was so aggressive, and he's just got the fire in his eyes right now. You know, he's had a rough start to the season. He wants to get up there and do some damage. Very much like Gerke. We also saw Chris Blows in Monster Energy Supercross. It's taken him a little time. He's had some on-again, off-again moments, and you see right there a little change of direction. He goes inside or jumps to the left and jumps to the right. There's a lot of different options here at Nashville. Well, it's a tricky rhythm section because the faster line is actually harder to get to, and that's a great job by the track designers to build it that way. If you want to take the fast line, you're going to have to go out of your way to find it. That's going to create some options later and some passing opportunities, and it was a great move by the track designers. It's going to work out great throughout the night. And if you have to go outside, then square up inside, there's a rider in there, we're going to see contact. We're used to seeing that in Amsoil Arenacross, and now we're looking at Bobby Canary, the 116. Oh, that blue Yamaha, the Thermatech FMC Yamaha. Yeah, the thing with Bobby Canary is he's actually starting to get things figured out here as well. And what's happening with him is he came in a little bit overly aggressive, I think, but he's kind of mellowed out. But the thing that is definitely improving for him is his starts, putting him in better opportunities to do good. I've noticed that his starts over the past few races have improved, and it's definitely important in Arenacross, in all forms of racing, but especially in Amsoil Arenacross. Gerke, Hayes, 3rd and 4th. I don't see Hayes up there. He is back there, but Gerke looks like he wants to get by Canary. He's taking those insides. If I'm Bobby Canary, I've got to be, conscious about him going underneath me, even though he's set up on the outside this time. Yeah, you definitely got to cover the inside and the whoops. That's what he did. The whoops is one of those places where you can always make a pass, but if you cover your inside line, you're making it just that much more difficult for the guy. And, I could tell from Matt Gerke's interview, I think he's hungry for a win. It's one thing to be the points leader and be Mr. Consistent, but, man, he's got to be looking over in his pits and seeing Hayes and Blows, these guys getting wins. And I'll bet you he's a little sick of that. I mean, if you're going to be the points leader, you want to win some races too. So I can sense a little bit more aggression in Matt Gerke tonight. He wants to get up there and win some races. Oh, Gerke only able to double that time. You saw Canary getting a little squirrely in the whoops. The top 7 transfer to the main. Van Buskirk on the outside looking in. If you're an 8th, you had to ride that last chance qualifier, and you do not want to have to do that. Well, on lap 7 of 10, the leader is still Chris Blows after getting that great start. We're starting to see Jacob Hayes starting to close in on the picture. Yeah, he's closing in on this pack right here. And as Gerke, well, it looks like Gerke actually has now made the pass on Bobby Canary. But as those two were kind of bunching up, Hayes used that to his advantage, maybe close the gap on him a little bit. But he's running out of time. If he wants to move up, he's going to have to do something quick. We're 8 laps into this thing, and he's running out of time. Taking a look that inside. Multiple lines. Again, do you hunt for? Look at the 2 totally different lines right there. Hayes on the inside. That's going to be the better one if he could just get one wheel up on Canary. Canary having to paddle. We've seen that several times, having to paddle his way around that left-hander. Yeah, he is. And if Jacob Hayes is going to want to make the pass in the whoops, he's going to have to start closer to him. He obviously was a little faster in the whoops, but there you go. Out to in. Your classic Arenacross move right there. Makes the pass. And he's got to be happy. Now he's got the Babbitt's team running 1, 2, 3. So team manager Denny Bartz is sitting on the side of the track right now with probably a pretty big smile on his face. Babbitt's, Monster Energy, Amsoil, Kawasaki of Blows, Gerke, Canary, not Hayes, in 3rd. As the spotlight is on your leader in Amsoil Arenacross, we put the spotlight on him. You see the white flag waving. He's coming into lap traffic. Good job by the lappers. They know they're not in this race. Yes, they're racing, but they're not in it. Move over, let them by. You're going to get to ride a last chance qualifier. Yeah, you try and win that one. They're usually not that nice either. So for Chris right now, he's got to be pretty happy because they got to have his way. He's going to grab himself a heat race win. So awesome ride for Chris Blows. I mean, this is the way you want to start out your night. Get that lead, get out front, win that heat race, and start some momentum. 7 to the main. The top 4 go to that head-to-head bracket race in just a moment.
Chris, confidence is key. You came out swinging in practice and qualifying. You were the fastest qualifier. Come out in the heat race, whole shot, pull away. You got to be feeling really good coming into tonight's main event.
Yeah, I feel good. Practice I set first fastest time. I feel great at the track's pretty tricky tonight with all the ruts and it's pretty soft dirt. But as long as you get a good start, I think we'll be good for the main event win.
It's going to be a good one. Most of our field is set. We still have the last chance qualifiers, the bracket racing. A lot is still ahead. Welcome back to AMSOIL Arenacross featuring Ricky Carmichael's Road to Supercross. You can always hashtag AX on Fox. And if you come out to an event, you might meet the man himself, Ricky Carmichael, in attendance here this weekend, and the fans showed their support. Chrissy Lee's with two of our special guests here tonight.
Thanks, Robbie. Well, I do have two familiar faces with me, joined by Jordan Smith, number 126, and, of course, Ricky Carmichael. Ricky, as always, welcome to AMSOIL Arenacross. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you I'm glad to be here. I love this place, and I love the program. The track is really good tonight, and good to see all this young talent coming up.
Let's talk about the Road to Supercross, and Jordan, one of the many riders contending Ricky Carmichael's Road to Supercross. What's your experience of that and of the AMSOIL Arenacross series?
Yeah, it was really good. I got my last point tonight, so able to race Dallas now, and it was a great experience, you know, out here with the crowd, the tight tracks and stuff. I had a blast. The tracks are good, and was really excited to do it.
And what do you think about the competition here at Arenacross?
The competition's really stiff. You definitely can't underestimate them, and you have to come prepared. So it was really good, and the guys were tough out here.
Well, Ricky, one of the many riders, as I said, contending the Road to Supercross. We've had a lot of faces from last year at Arenacross at Supercross this year in 2015.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be exciting, and I'm happy for these guys. I think it's a great stepping stone for him, and I think it'll prepare him really good for, like you said, for the 2016 Supercross series, and for him 2015.
All right, Ricky, thank you as always, and Jordan, thanks again. Best of luck.
Thanks a lot, guys. Now it's time for our Rocky Mountain ATV MC head-to-head challenge. The top four from Heat 1, the top four from Heat 2, they go at it head-to-head. They've already gotten 1 point, one championship point. Now, whoever wins this race will get another championship point. We're in the semifinals. First up, Bobby Canary, Kyle Regal. We'll see the second one here in just a moment. Again, it's a 2-lap race head-to-head. Only one guy comes out on top.
These are the two guys I talked about earlier who've both been getting good starts as of late, but Kyle Regal out-edged him here in the first head-to-head bracket race. And, you know, look at these whoops are breaking down in the middle we've seen, and both guys kind of avoiding that middle line, taking the two edges. And looks like Canary's a little far back for the first lap. He's
Yeah, you better turn it on. You've only got another 1 lap to go. White flag is out. Now he does turn it on. Goes to the inside, or does he? He tried squaring it up, but with that little hump on exit, can you really take the turn like you normally would in that area?
No, you got to kind of strategically go in there. You can't really just go in and stuff somebody, because that hump does kind of change it. This track has a few little tricky elements that are going to make it hard to pass, but these guys will find a way to do it. And Kyle Regal's going to come away with the first win of the night in the bracket racing, and Canary's not too happy about it.
No. Canary gets to get ready for the main events now. Kyle Regal, he's going to have to face the winner of this race, Chris Blows and Corey Green. Always like being on the inside. Corey has that inside, but will he get the whole shot?
Looks like Blows has him by about a half a wheel. But a little bobble.
And there's why you want to be on the inside.
Exactly. Chris Blows drifts a little wide right there, loses his front end, and Corey Green's going to take the lead.
Corey on that yellow Suzuki. Babbitt's online rider. You see the Babbitt's Kawasaki just behind him. And, hey, Corey Green's in position to win this head-to-head bracket race.
Yeah,
but there's still a 3/4 of a lap left in one very important rhythm section, and always important are the whoops.
The whoop section is most important. Look at that. He got himself up the inside, and that is the key in the whoops. Get yourself in the inside. But you know what? It didn't work out. But here's that option section right there. You can go left or right. Blows takes the left. Option's a little faster.
Oh, drag race.
And he just edges him out for the victory.
Oh, man, the crowd, they were on their feet.
Even Corey's happy.
An awesome race, but now we have Chris Blows and Kyle Regal going at it head-to-head, and look at the gap. Blows says, I don't want anywhere near that inside of Regal.
Yeah,
but if I get a good start, I guarantee you he's going for that front tire.
He definitely is. You know, this is the one race of the night where you can look over at your buddy and say, hey, we're going to throw the friendship out for about 30 seconds, and I'm going to go get that championship point that I want. And this is their opportunity to have some fun and get physical.
Regal with a good start. You see him having to square up and make that, but not able to triple out.
Now, that first lap, he tried to cover that inside and make sure Blows didn't get him, so it affected his ability to come in and triple. But now Chris has got himself on the inside. What a good pass back.
Gamesmanship.
Oh, and there it is.
That's costly for Kyle Regal.
It is. It's called a suicide pass, where you go to make the move hoping that you can, both of you, not do the triple. Blows was able to do it. And I think he's put himself in position to get this win.
One more turn, and it's going to be a head-to-head bracket race victory. Chris Blows takes it, and he takes a championship point as well.
Continuing on, a great night for him so far. He's perfect on the night.
Hey, I'm Brett Metcalf with the Dirt Candy Racing Team, and you're watching the Amsoil Arenacross Series on Fox Sports.
Welcome back to Nashville for Amsoil Arenacross. Let's quickly send it down to Christy Lee.
Thanks, Robbie. Here with Bobby Canary, and tonight's track conditions are especially difficult. Definitely a technical track, but the dirt, it seems to be somewhat of an issue.
Yeah, this is a very difficult track, and the fact that we have gum-like dirt, it's very sticky, it's very hard to maneuver outside of the main line due to the fact that it gets wore into these, what we call ruts. It's a deep groove in the ground, much like a tractor puts in driving through a wet field. It's very hard to get out of those. It's very hard to jump long distances, big jumps like we are in those ruts. Aiming going up the face of a 70-foot jump is not an easy task. So it's making for some interesting passing and racing this evening.
Some good insight from Bobby Canary there. Now let's move on to the DC Shoes Defy Convention Last Chance Qualifier. 2 of these guys are going to make it to the main event. Everybody else, they can sit in the stands. They get to watch those main events.
That's right, and the last thing you want to do is be in this race. It's one of the most chaotic races of the night, but the key is getting to start and getting out of the madness. And it looks like Darian tonight, our road to Supercross rider, grabs the early hole shot, and that's exactly where he wants to be.
Well, that was just what he did in his heat race, but went down late in that race going into that last lap. So he should have been there. Actually, one of our top qualifiers, a couple guys going down in the whoops. He takes a look over to make sure the next time he comes around that it might not block his travel.
Exactly. He's going to come through the whoops. There's going to be a guy down, wants to make sure he's not in this line. And Darian tonight, I'll tell you what about this kid. He came out in Cincinnati the opening round and he looked good, but he's improved a little bit every single week. And it's the momentum that he's built over getting comfortable inside these arenas and inside this action. Even though he did fall in that heat race, I mean, that's part of Arenacross racing. But he has gotten so much better on the bike, so much more comfortable, and this program is really working out for him.
They call it the Ricky Carmichael Road to Supercross. It's to prepare the riders for Monster Energy Supercross. You talk about those 3 nights, 3 different venues. They have to make the night show. And that means they basically have to, qualify in the top 30 out of however many guys show up that day to try and make it into the big program at Amsoil Arenacross.
Yeah, and this year it's been so stacked. The number of riders that have been turning out have been incredible. So for him to be able to come right out, get his points, and get into Supercross, that's going to be a great achievement for him. But he wants more than that. Now look at this guy, Drake Sizemore. I noticed this kid in practice. He was riding good as well, real aggressive. Now he's getting the opportunity of a lifetime. He's running second in the LCQ, and if he stays on 2 wheels, he's going to make his first Arenacross main event.
And a couple of Illinois riders out there. Van Buskirk from Harvard, Illinois. Tamaroa, Illinois is where Drake's from, and he's good in that second spot, but you don't want to let Osby catch up.
No, Osby and Locks, Jake Locks is sitting there in the 4th spot too. These guys want to get in the main event as well, but if Sizemore can just focus ahead, he's going to be okay. And Osby, what he wants to do is focus ahead too and try to get into that second position.
Ride as smooth as you can, just a little bit here and there. That, you know, being behind some guys is not a bad thing. If you find a better line, you could also maybe late break into a section, but right there, you're losing time.
Losing a little bit of time on that line right now, and he don't want to do that. He doesn't have much time. He's got about 2 laps left. He's got to get close enough. If you want to make a pass in Arenacross, you have to be close enough to strike. If you're that far back, it looks like he's maybe about a half a second. That ain't going to cut it. He's got to get to that back tire, give himself the opportunity to make the pass. But Darian Sinai sitting out front with a 25.0 lap time, he's looking good and looking like he's on his way to a main event.
Now it's different, but earlier in qualifying today, you saw him 25.0. We only had, 4 or 5 guys in the 24-second range. The track does change throughout the night, so you will see a change. But again, a good lap time for Sinai.
Yeah, definitely rode fast in practice, but the speed has picked up, and we've seen that from everybody. And it's just a part of the development of the track. As the track forms, lines get better, riders start learning new things about the track, their speed gets better, and that's definitely what's happened here in Nashville.
Next time around, we'll get the white flag signifying last lap. But Osby, it's killing him taking that inside, going so slow, singling that first one. That has to be where he's losing ground. Why does he keep doing it?
Well, it looks like he's catching him on the rest of the track, but he must be comfortable with that line, and what he needs to do is go out wide, swing it, cut in, and get that triple in the rhythm. Otherwise, he's just going to lose that valuable little bit of time that he needs to get close enough, and he's running out of time.
2/10 over, 5 laps would still be a full second.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it that way. Sinai is going to take the last chance qualifier victory. Oh, a last second attempt by Osby is not going to be enough. Sizemore stoked to see that no-legger across the finish line. That's because he moves on to the main event. Everybody else, sorry, but you got a great seat. But 16 riders are set for the main event. Main event 1, main event 2. We've got a lot more racing still ahead. Who's going to win this thing?
It's It's got to either be Chris Bloss or Matt Gerke.
Look out for the 2 Kawasaki pilots right after this. It's main event time at Amsoil Arenacross featuring Ricky Carmichael's Road to Supercross in Nashville, Tennessee. But first, let's go down to Christy.
Jacob Hayes on the number 2 bike had a tangle with Kyle Riegel just 2 weeks ago back in Grand Rapids and sustained a shoulder injury and actually ended up in the hospital. He's been unable to get back on the bike until just a few days prior to racing tonight. He says he's feeling good but struggling with suspension setup, specifically the rebound today in practice and during that last heat race.
Thanks a lot, Christy. Going on the technical side there, talking about the rebound. That's also known as kick, the back end one to come up, or the front end for that matter.
Yeah, but as these whoops have kind of developed throughout the night and gotten a little bit more cupped out, they would say, the suspension becomes really valuable in making sure you get it right. So hopefully for his sake, he gets it right for this main event.
Erline, our top qualifier, gets first gate pick, the 393 on that very inside, but boy, he got shut down hard.
He did, and Bloss comes away with the inside, moves Riegel out, and takes the early lead. And now look at that rut. That rut has developed, and Chris Bloss went right up the middle.
Chris Bloss on that green Kawasaki, the Babbitt's Monster Energy Amsoil Kawasaki in front, the Husqvarna, the white bike on the inside in second. That's Kyle Riegel. Third,
it's like Corey Green on the inside and Matt Gerke on the outside. They're sitting in fourth.
So your series points leader in fourth. Maybe he'll get his first win of the season. Mr. Consistency looking for that first win.
Well, he talked about it in his interview. He wants to get better starts. He's got to give himself a better opportunity to be up front. So a fourth place start, not bad. But when you got Chris Bloss, who's been so on fire all night, and you got him out in the front, that's got to be a little concerning.
Well, you look at the top 5, and you have Babbitt in your sponsor for everybody but Kyle Riegel. Blows on the Kawasaki, Green on the Suzuki, Gerke, Hayes, 2 Kawasaki teammates. Pretty stacked front 5 right now.
Definitely, and a good ride going for Corey Green. Like we talked about, he's had a rough start to this series. And for him to get out front early in this main, this is a chance for him to make up valuable points because he lost so many in the beginning of the series. He needs those points.
And I saw Gerke right there, seat bounce, triple. That has to be the fast one if you could triple out and triple in.
Yeah, it's been tough for the guys all day. A lot of guys been tripling in, but the triple out is very, very difficult. But he just did it right there, and see if that becomes valuable throughout the main events.
Corey Green, it looks like he's jumping into that whoops, not one to have that full blow through it motion. Matt Gerke, on the other hand, has different ideas. You see him seat bounce there, and he makes it again.
And he does it, and look how close he got to Green. Now he knows next lap, if he can get himself a little bit closer, well, he's not going to wait for next lap. He's just going to handle it right now.
Squared up. Oh, look at that. That gummy dirt that we heard Bobby Canary talking about. He was wheeling all the way in the face of that jump.
Yeah, got a little extra traction right there. Got himself in the inside and makes the pass. You know, this race is 15 laps, but it's over in the blink of an eye. And if he wants to get up front and win this thing,
and coming up short.
Oh, and Hayes actually gets by both riders. That's how you do it right there. Take advantage of a mistake. Gerke's not wanting to give it up, though.
And that's his teammate. I mean, he ran him to the top. This is Arenacross. This is where you develop those stuffing skills, I think. And we saw 2 teammates going at it there. Gerke, though, a big bobble cost him, but he got it right back.
Exactly. Got himself back in the third. You know, this is a tough situation for these guys. They're teammates. They're in the same semi-truck, you know.
It tucks the front end. Gerke's down.
Oh, and it looks like Green ran over his ankles, too. Gerke better get himself up. This is our points leader right here, losing valuable points.
And every rider that goes by is another point lost. You get 1 point for every position.
Oh, man, and if you're Chris Bloss right now, you're looking and you're seeing your teammate down, you're going, oh, this is my opportunity to make up some points because he had some races early in the year where he lost points. This is a chance to make up ground.
Remember, the back end of Amsoil Arenacross is about that race to the championship. The top 10 riders, they wash out their points, and they basically start from scratch. And right now, losing points is Matt Gerke. Chris Bloss pulling away out in front of this main event number 1.
Yeah, it's a long championship, but we will eventually reset these points down for the race of the championship, and that'll be essentially like a playoff, giving these guys a 6-race dash for a championship. So right now, you just want to get those valuable points, make sure you're in the top 10, but these guys have pride. They don't want to be in 10th or 9th. They want to be in the lead, so if you're Chris Bloss or Matt Gerke, every point matters because you want to be the guy with the red plate.
And they want to win. We heard Matt Gerke say that earlier. Although he was a series points leader, he wanted to get those wins. Jacob Hayes looking smooth now. He actually held the series points lead for a while, but when you see that white background, for anybody, that signifies you are no longer that points leader.
Yeah, and he's not happy about that. I talked to him after practice today, and he told me he's frustrated. You know, winning 3 main events, getting these overall victories, those are good, but he wants to be the guy. He wants to be a champion. And he's not happy with some of the results he's had and some of the inconsistencies. He's trying to straighten that out. He looks like he's having a good night so far tonight, but this is a guy who really, really wants to win, and it's very hard for him to accept being not the points leader, not the red plate.
And when you have the 2 on there, it's even harder for you. You know, Tyler Bowers won the championship last year. That's the guy who finished right behind him. Corey Green finished 5th last year, one of his best races so far of this year. He's in 4th currently, and he jumps into that whoops and tries finding a nice blow-through rhythm. Those whoops are breaking down. I mean, you're going a lot faster than they were earlier in the day.
Yeah, they have broke down a lot, and you're seeing guys kind of use different techniques. Instead of just getting on the back and hammering, they're kind of jumping in, maybe skipping a couple and then hammering through. Different techniques for different guys. It's just how they're going to be able to adjust to these whoops as they break down throughout this night.
A few more laps to go for Chris Bloss. You see his quickest lap at 24.1. He's getting close to the 23-second mark. He did that back on lap 3. And landing nice and smooth. I mean, he rode Monster Energy Supercross, but that's not a ticket to wins in AMSOIL Arenacross by any means.
No, it's a different sport. There's a transition, and he came right out swinging at the opening round. He showed that he had the speed, and then he just had a few rough nights, a couple get-offs that have held him back, but the guy looks to be back on track, and so far tonight, he's been flawless. He was fast in practice. He was fast, won his heat race, won the head-to-head bracket race, and an exciting battle with Corey Green, and now he is in the main event out front again. Just one of those nights where everything's clicking.
Corey trying to catch up to Jacob Hayes. Corey Green out of Nowata, Oklahoma, working with Robbie Raynard. You see the 116 of Bobby Canary. Interesting note about Bobby Canary, he's the first kid I ever see on a 60cc motorcycle on amateur day jump the big catapult. Bet you didn't know that.
I didn't know that, and now look at him here, and I'm pretty sure he does.
That was in the 90s, mind you.
Yeah, maybe a little bit different track at the time. I think he'd have a tough time doing it here tonight, especially with these track conditions as the track's starting to break down. You can see the little ruts and bumps forming, but for Chris Bloss, it's not an issue whatsoever.
Now Chris Bloss with the spotlight on the leader. He's got a right-hand turn. Riders with some difficulties, but no difficulty so far for Chris Bloss. It's going to be a main event #1 victory for him. Though in that head-to-head race, and he's have a strong, perfect night going. Can he keep it going for main event #2 as everybody else rounds out through the field? Regal, Hayes round out the podium. Corey Green, his best finish of the season. Bobby Canary rounding out the top 5.
Thanks, Robbie. Chris Bloss, number 63 on the Kawasaki. A very successful night for you tonight, taking the Heat 2 win, the head-to-head bracket, and now the main 1 win. Congratulations. How do you plan to carry that into the main 2 and hopefully take the overall for the night?
It's just a confidence builder, you know. We've been practicing, set the fast lap in practice, and night's been going really good. We picked the number 8 invert, so hopefully we can get it off to a good start, get the overall win.
That means he gets the 8th pick on the starting gate for main event #2. That's gotta hurt. We are 15 laps away from crowning our overall winner. These 16 riders raced main event #1, but unfortunately for Chris Bloss, he wins the main event and picks the 8 box, the 8 rider inversion. So Jared Steinke gets first pick on the gate.
Yeah, it looks like he took the very inside. It seems to be the safe pick, but Steinke gets pinched off on the start. It looks like Canary with a good start.
The blue Yamaha, Bobby Canary. Thermatech FMC Yamaha, he's trying to jump out. He wants to separate himself from the rest of the field as quick as he can. Don't want to worry about guys being to your left and right.
No, but look who's in second. Chris Bloss draws the number 8, still makes the best of it, and comes around in second on the opening lap.
It's good if you can still be on that front row. You can get a start, I don't care where you're at in AMSOIL Arenacross, on that front row. Now,
right.
You've got to get a good jump, and you've got to do some work, but you can get a start from anywhere on the front.
Right, you might not get the ultimate pick that you want, but you can do it from anywhere here. So obviously Chris Bloss got it done, got himself a second place start, and now he's just going to want to work away on Canary and get himself into that lead and try to get away. But when you're Canary right now and you're out front, there's an added sense of confidence. You're out front, you got that clear track, you're not going to give it up easy.
Now Bobby Canary, the blue machine in front, the Kawasaki in second of Chris Bloss, his teammate Jacob Hayes in third, Erline and Gerke rounding out the top 5. Gerke had a terrible first main event, finished 11th though. There's looking over to the right, he wasn't there, but he's cognitive. He's thinking about where that rider could be at any given time.
Yeah, you know, he's not going to want to do that. He's actually going to want to stay focused ahead, because when you start looking back over your shoulder, you kind of take your concentration off of your own speed. You really want to be focused on the track and just kind of have like a natural awareness that knowing that the guy's at the inside, looks, Blows is starting to jump those whoops. He tried a different line. It didn't work, but I did see him start experimenting with a different line on those whoops.
And not only taking that inside, but jumping in, jumping out. I mean, that's different as well.
Yeah, he's going to have to find something to make a pass here, and that's what, with Canary taking that middle line, he's going to have to experiment a little bit and kind of find a way around him. But look at our leaderboard. Matt Gerke sitting in 4th. He got 11th in the first main. That put him in the back row. Already 5 laps in.
It paid off for Blows that time. He went inside. He found a nice little rhythm. Canary didn't, and Canary gets moved back to 2nd. Make that 3rd with Jacob Hayes sticking a wheel in there?
Nope, Canary's not letting up yet, but look at out to end. He made the same move that he made earlier tonight, making the pass into 2nd place, and now he's going to want to chase after his teammate before Chris Blows gets away.
A big triple. I love this track here at Nashville. I know the riders might be having a little bit of difficulty, and that rut's starting to develop bigger and bigger. If you're having problems with the rut, get out of the rut, Bobby Canary.
Yeah, he looks like he's struggling with that line, but it's really hard to make an in-race change like that. When you find like a comfort in a line that you're taking, it's really hard. And it looks like the Babbitts Kawasaki, the points hitter, Matt Gerke, makes the pass as well and puts himself into a podium spot.
And I do want to point out, Bobby was in the rut that time. He wasn't in the last time, so he's searching, like you said. He's trying to find a better line.
Yeah, definitely. And as this track breaks down, you just have to do that. It's just so hard for riders sometimes to make that adjustment, because you get comfortable and you kind of get in a rut where you feel comfortable in a certain line, and you got to sometimes just get out of that rut and find something new.
In a rut, huh?
Exactly.
Really in a rut. Nobody's in a rut as far as Chris Blows is concerned. Him and his mechanic, their smiles ear to ear, as well as team manager Denny Bartz. He's got, look, top 3 are all Babbitts, Kawasaki's, Blows, Hayes, and Gerke.
Now, Gerke's wanting to really make up for that first main event. I mean, we've talked about it tonight. The guy wants to win. He's sick of being Mr. Consistent. He wants to be Mr. Win. So he's riding a little extra aggressive, and it kind of caught him in that first main event, but now he wants to make up for it. And coming from the back row, he's got a good race going. He just wants to get after his teammates and get up there on the front.
Had his worst finish of the season at 11th. You looked at it before then. There were only 2 other times he wasn't in the top 3, and now he's looking to make a pass on Jacob Hayes, his teammate. Look at that. He's seat bouncing, just the quad there, triple. I mean, I don't know, but
triple. And look, he's going to the inside trying to be aggressive.
Oh, and too hard into it. Hayes looks over and goes, "What you doing?"
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate for Matt Gerke. He was riding so good, and he was looking to make a pass in a 2nd, but maybe a little over-aggressive right there.
Shut it down, and that's opposite of what he said he would do when we talked to him earlier.
Yeah, it's just, man, it's rider emotion. You get fired up. When you want something bad, you let it hang out a little bit, and that just caught him right there.
One thing to point out, though, as we're looking at Kyle Regal, Regal's going to move up into 3rd now, is he high-sided. He didn't, I don't think, really expected it to happen that way, or else you stuff it to a rider on the outside of you. But when you high side, it might be a little unexpected. He might have had a problem there in that turn. Kyle Regal, look at that body.
Speaking of having a problem, hey, that was a pretty good adjustment.
He almost looked like a trials rider.
Yeah, he almost threw it away, but a nice a mid-whoop adjustment right there saved him. And Chris Blows, man, what an impressive night. You know, I mean, we've been talking about it all night, how he's just been so dominant from the start of the day. Qualifying, heat race, head-to-head, main 1. Now here he is in main event number 2, and he's just getting it done again.
We haven't had a rider win every race this year throughout the night. And not only that, he qualified number 1 as well, the fastest qualifying time. He hits that catapult one more time. We're on lap 12 of 15. Oh,
Looks
was
like
that Gerke going down again?
I think so. Out of the corner of our screen, Matt Gerke went down. We'll have to see if that was him, as Daniel Herline comes around in 4th place finish. He's having a great night as well. But, you know, in the opening, you talked about parity and the amount of riders who are winning. Chris Blows is not happy about that. He doesn't want any parity.
No, he wants to win it all. So let's look at this left-hand turn heading into that rhythm, and it was Gerke, and he just could not get the bike turned around. He goes down again. His bad night is just getting worse here in main 2.
Yeah, simple washout, and that might have been a fall of frustration. What happens is sometimes you get a little overwhelmed by some mistakes and some crashes, and it just kind of takes over you, and then it just compounds, and now he's washing out in another corner, and it's just one of those nights he's going to want to look past. It's going to be very hard for him to do that, though.
And he's going to lose ground, a lot of ground. Jacob Hayes is going to move up there. This is a guy who finished 2nd in championship points last year as the white flag is out. One more lap to go for Blows. Can Hayes make up, about 2 seconds in this last lap? He's going to need a lot of help from lap riders in front of Blows.
Yeah, he's going to need a big mistake. Well, there was a little mistake from Blows right there, but I think the gap's just a little too big. And man, what a performance tonight for the number 63, Chris Blows. So impressive, so strong, and like we talked about, no parity tonight. Tonight's Chris Blows' night. Takes it. Look at the fist bumps. He's excited.
It was a perfect night for Chris Blows. Jacob Hayes finishes in second. We see Kyle Riegel and Herline just behind him. And for Jared Steinke, one of his best finishes of the season, in fifth. It was an awesome night for the Babbitt Monster Energy Kawasaki rider, Chris Blows. As you look at that, you can't get any better than that. 2 points for the bracket race and 16 for main event wins. 34 is the max points per night. The Ty-Lube Tough Racing Husqvarna had a good night. It just wasn't a perfect night. Second and a third.
Kyle Riegel, number 4, strong night of racing for you, but definitely some difficult conditions out there. Congratulations on third overall.
Yeah, rode a good race, rode pretty good all day, I'd say. Just killing the starts. My bike is insane this year, and can't thank the guys at the team enough. Ty-Lube Tough Racing, Husqvarna, huge help with them coming off the start so good every time. And can't thank all the guys back home during the week. Quick Roofing, all the kids I train and everything, keep my head on straight during the week. And it's cool to do this here in front of one of my main sponsors, Twin Peaks, their home location here, and appreciate all their good vibes throughout the day, and see if we can do this again next weekend.
Well, it looks like Jacob Hayes got things figured out with his suspension. A third in main event 1. Main event 2, he finishes second. That's good enough for second overall. He's now the new series points leader.
Jacob Hayes in the number 2 Kawasaki, overcoming some early issues tonight. We talked a lot about how you and the team struggled with suspension setups. What was the most difficult part about getting that dialed in?
Yeah, tonight the track was really technical. The dirt was pretty sticky, and we've been kind of dealing with a little bit of shock issues, but got them worked out towards the main event, and everything seemed to go pretty good. Just got to go back home, study my starts, and dial those in. Arenacross is tough when you start from the back, and tonight, I got off to okay starts. The second one I got off to a little bit better start, but like I said, the track was brutal, and my teammate Chris Blows was riding really good tonight, so just followed in suit behind him and put the Team Babbitt's Monster Energy AMSOIL Kawasaki 1-2 and took over the points lead. So, I'm really pumped about that, and can't wait for next weekend.
Chris Blows' night can be summed up in one word: perfection. It doesn't get any better than this. He won every single race he entered tonight.
Chris, an outstanding night for you tonight, sweeping everything, wins left and right. How did you find confidence coming in tonight to be able to be so successful?
Yeah, no, I've been riding really good lately, just a lot of bad luck and just dumb crashes really the past couple weekends. So it's just everything seemed to click tonight. My starts were good. My heat race was good. I won that. The head was awesome. And it was just took everything to happen and get good starts, stay out of trouble, and just to get the back-to-back wins.
And a look at the new series points leader. Jacob Hayes will have that red background. Moving from 7th to 4th is Chris Blows, looking for that championship on the backside of the top 10. The guys who aren't in that race to the championship, you have guys like McDade, Ames, Gavin Faith that we hope to see at one of these rounds. Make sure you come to an event near you, or heck, travel and see us in Las Vegas. Follow us on Facebook. Always throw down that hashtag AX on Fox. For Daniel and Chrissy, I'm Robbie Floyd. We'll see you next time.